Welcome back to the podcast. This is No Decorum.
I'm Daniel.
I'm AJ. And today we have a guest.
Back on the show, Michael.
Michael.
Where we're discussing... Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, let's continue our conversation about the dangers of the mainstream media.
Dun, dun, dun. Do we have one of those sound effects now? It's not really the one I was looking for, but okay.
Popular topic.
Yeah, pretty popular. It affects all facets of life. So let's talk about it. What do you got to say?
I did say a lot last time, and I wasn't surprised that you guys were in agreement with most of the stuff I was saying, which was a relief because, it is dangerous if we just wherever we get our news and information from.
Sure.
There's definitely some bias that's taking place, and I might have mentioned this last time too. Depending on where you get your news and information, you might be getting a totally different version of reality than your neighbor or somebody else. So that there's division that's happening right there, and it's not even it's probably not even conscious. It's I prefer these guys over these guys or whatever. But again, there's a different narrative that's being played out.
It's tribal.
Sure. And so now I don't have any solutions, but so we could start with recognizing that maybe we probably shouldn't, maybe find some independent sources, to get things from, and risk, looking like a fringe.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. What do you think, AJ?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
The reason we don't see, the independent media is because most of independent media does not have the money.
No, they get drowned out easily.
They don't have the corporate backing. They don't have even NPR struggles sometimes.
Sure.
Gaining ground, and they are publicly funded most of the time.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So, places like CNN and MSNBC take most of the oxygen out of the room because they occupy the biggest gorilla.
Well, they're up and coming competitors on your different social media sites are being censored, and they're being having their videos and their channels canceled because they're talking about things that maybe aren't popular. But again, we're trying to get a different perspective on whatever else might be going on, and like you see the big tech companies like Google and Twitter and them like censoring just deplatforming people, and then like you guys remember what happened with Alex Jones a couple years ago? It was like he was deplatformed by Facebook and then Twitter and then Snapchat, all of them in the same day. Like that
almost
seems
collusion, right?
Yeah, come on, that seems like a conspiracy right there. But and it's like, well, why did that happen? Well, was he talking about something that was? Anyway, we're supposed to have freedom of speech in this country, and all these companies I just named were American companies anyway, right? But so he gets canceled from everything. He's got his own website still, but why did that happen? You could be said, well, he was talking about things that are dangerous. Well, dangerous to who? Not to me and you. Dangerous to the people who wanted to get him canceled, I guess.
Well, Alex Jones, put out a lot of conspiracy theories also.
Sure.
And as far as every Joe goes, and they start listening to some of that stuff, they may not do the research to find out if this is true or not, and they will, start believing in some of his conspiracy theories. So, in a way, I don't agree that some of these companies deplatformed him, but I do agree that we do have to put some sort of a control. Control is not a good word, but I would say some sort of a filter.
Yeah,
a filter, I guess. Where these type of things don't become normal.
Yeah,
normalize basically. So that's where I would sort of agree with those things.
Yeah, I think we'll disagree, maybe you and I, on the danger of these things,
Yeah.
right? But if you look at Trump's claims about the 2020 election, right, they were stolen. So his followers believe that, and because they believe that, they stormed the Capitol, right? So there is danger in these kind of things. If you believe what people are saying, you might really believe that elections were stolen and that you have to fight for, I don't know, democracy in some sense. So there is a real danger in that sort of behavior.
Okay, so but you know the behavior is kind of, it's separate from the speaking, right? So no matter what I say right here, right now, it's not violence. No matter what I say, it's not violence. And so if something I say causes one of you or somebody listening to get violent, is that merely my fault?
That's for a court to decide, right?
Well, absolutely. But really, common sense tells you that any crime that happens is the responsibility of the person who commits that crime.
Not necessarily, because you can try people for inciting violence.
Well, I'm saying, yeah. So if I did in fact incite some kind of violence, and that could be proven, well, then that would be my fault too. But again, the people who caused the violence that I incited would have to have their day in court as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
right.
we agree with that.
I mean, that is after the fact, though. The things have already happened, and then you can go back and prosecute. But to prevent or from those type of things happening is you have to have some sort of a filter on these things for some of these things to become mainstream. I mean, just the the example of election. There are facts, and then there are conspiracy theories. The facts are, there is very little election fraud in the United States. I mean, that's just a fact. There is no ways, two ways about it.
Decades of trying to prove that fact wrong has been unsuccessful, right? They can't.
Yeah.
There's no evidence for it. But
I mean, obviously, you guys have more faith and probably know a lot more about the voting system than I do, because I don't have that much faith in it. Just especially after this last one, and I'm not even with the. I have a big question mark over the whole thing, and like, why don't we use our cell phones to vote?
I think Apple wants to do that, don't they? Didn't Apple try to do something with that? They wanted to do something with it?
Yeah. The thing is with cell phones, every device have to be secured. That's the thing. And we are not at that point where every device can be secured. I mean, you can have other people vote on your cell phone.
Okay,
and
but
when those election machines are there are only 4 or 5 of them, and they all can be secured, by the election monitors, so they cannot be hacked into. None of those machines were hacked into. I mean, we know that.
How do we know?
Because they were not plugged into internet. So
Don't they have
those were all standalone machines.
Sure, but don't they have a interchangeable USB interface and somewhere in there that you can alter?
Yeah, they probably do, but the people that had those USBs did not have access to the internal workings of the machine.
Okay, right.
Those people were not on site. And even on top of that layer, there was another layer where to get into other behind the scenes stuff, there were other people who were in charge of those things. So there were multiple layers. The people that were at the polling station, these people are basically poll workers. They're not, they may have some computer knowledge as far as turning it on, going on internet. They're not tech savvy, people. So some of those things can be monitored and control, and that's the reason we don't have. Main reason is because these devices cannot be secured.
But they're secure enough to log on to like my banking app, for instance, and like when I request like an Uber ride, it knows it's me because I'm signed in. You know what I mean? Like I can only do that with my phone. Well,
but you could be somebody else too.
Well, then they're voting for whoever somebody else. You know what I mean?
It's true. It's true.
I mean, the same questions would come again, how do we know these people are voting? It could be anybody. Anybody can download an app and, vote on that behalf.
Okay, but what I'm saying, I don't know how that would be any different than it is now, because you go vote, you don't care who else, or you don't know that anybody else is or isn't voting.
I mean, the thing is with Americans, we don't like to vote legally. Why would somebody go and vote illegally?
We have some of the lowest voter turnout in the industrialized world.
I mean,
Well, not this time around we didn't. We had...
I mean, all we have to do is when we're renewing our driver's license, we can say, hey, yeah, I want to be registered, and we don't do that.
Yeah, well, they made it easier this time.
Yeah.
And it should be easy to vote.
It should be easier. It should be on weekends. It should be at any time. And people still do not vote. So I don't see how and why I would not want to go and vote again and stand in line and do that again. Once is enough for me. So
It's kind of a pain.
Yeah.
But hey, that's just,
I mean, that's just me. So
I don't think we're that unique in the country, right?
and yeah,
I don't know.
really, we're just voting for the people that we want to rule over us, and
Yeah.
I mean, that's true. But
That's the
all
system.
the people that they tried voting again were caught and they were prosecuted. So,
Okay, so let's go back to what you were saying a few minutes ago about the folks that are being censored by big techs for having different, you could say Alex Jones was putting some conspiracy theories out there and possibly some stuff that wasn't true, possibly some dangerous ideas, but the mainstream media is not right all the time either. I mean, it was just like for the past 3.5 years, we had MSNBC and CNN misleading the American people, thinking that President Trump stole the 2016 election with Russian interference. I mean, and that turned out to be a bunch of nothing.
Yep.
But for that time, they were just headstrong, and they were saying, "We're going to find it today. Today's going to be the day. We're going to wake up. We're going to catch this guy red-handed."
New document just came up. This is it. New trail.
And so now that
Rachel Maddow kind of went in
She was all
deep
over it.
in that,
Oh, yeah.
and she was kind of burned.
She went in
Yeah.
balls deep. Whoa, can I say that?
Okay, so you said Rachel Maddow. Is this looking at what she was doing there? Is that the job of a journalist?
Is she a journalist?
Uh,
Or is she a
I
pundit?
mean, I'm using that
that's
generously.
probably,
I don't
probably
think she's
her.
a journalist. I
yeah.
think she's only a pundit.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't.
Right.
So, I think that's her job. Then, if that's her role, yeah, that's her job. Propagandize. That's what she does.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a show.
It-
It's,
yeah.
it's
Right.
sort of a like,
entertainment.
yeah.
For sure. I never thought she was a journalist.
No. I mean,
I mean, maybe she is, but I don't see how. Does she investigate anything? Does she? What?
no,
I've never seen her on a
she
beat
reads
somewhere.
papers in front of a camera.
That somebody else gives her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I never thought much about her, but yeah.
I mean, and she's looks good on a camra. Sometimes.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
I mean, that's about
what was I
all.
comment on?
Yeah, I mean, she. So yeah, I mean, we agree that they did, and mainstream media actually helped Donald Trump become president.
For sure. In 2016?
Well, yeah, because he knows how to play the media, right?
Yeah.
He knows how to get their attention and all.
He
that.
did. I mean, he played it to his advantage.
I'll never forget that podium.
Yeah,
For was it 30 minutes or
30 minutes? CNN just kept showing an empty
It was
podium.
an empty podium for 30 minutes. Just all that free airtime. Like, what are
Yeah.
they doing? Oh, he'll be here shortly.
And he was behind. I mean, he was backstage.
Yeah, he
the
was
whole
there.
time. He was like,
Man.
yeah, just
Just
let
waiting him out. Like,
Yeah.
okay, see how long they do this, right? So yeah, for sure he played him like a fiddle, but they wanted it. They got the ratings they wanted. They got
Yeah.
the money, so they were happy to do it.
They even said that it was good for the TV, good for the station.
Yeah, and I'm sure his tax cuts were good for them as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right. What was it? One of those undercover news organizations, Project Veritas, I think. One of his guys went undercover with CNN, and they were asking one of the producers, "So what's going on with the Trump thing?" And the producer said, "There's nothing there, but that's what we're going to run because that's what we're supposed to.
Yeah.
run. That's what's popular. That's what people want to
Yeah,
hear."
that's just what it is.
I mean, it came
find
back to
what
bite
works.
him.
Yeah.
All those he called out, saying this is a fake media, and we agree. I mean, this is
They have a corporate agenda.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
know what it is.
it's all about ratings,
Promoting
making
war.
money, promoting
Right.
war.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's not too much. We need to disagree more. We need more. What else do you
No.
have? We need some conflict here, folks.
No, we will no doubt get to some, I'm sure. But
All right.
I think that this is an important message to get out because like last time, AJ, you said, I asked you, why do you think it is that most people are just unaware of some of these things that are obvious to us? And then you said, well, because a lot of people just go to work and then they come home and they got a couple minutes to look at something on TV. They don't really have time to like really kind of dig into stuff and investigate it. And I mean, it makes perfect sense. And I mean, that's the best answer you could have said. I actually have a lot of time on my hands because I just don't do a lot of stuff. And so, I'll just read or, if there's a subject I want to know about and, I'll just dig into it and I'll try to find out information wherever I can.
Sure.
And then use my own intuition and discernment on what I think is valid and relevant. So because of that, though, I'm limited on other stuff that I don't know anything about. Like if ever you guys get around and start talking about football or something, I'm not going to contribute to that conversation because I'm not watching sports. I'm just not even. I don't even do that
Neither
anymore.
am I. AJ?
I can go on football for
Yeah.
a long time.
Might be another segment, but anyways, I'll be out of the room.
But that's just one of my interests. Football is one of my interests. Cars are one of my interests, so I can go on any cars.
I think Chomsky's talked about this. Keeping us so busy that we can't focus on the details.
Yeah.
That's how.
That's
how
just the way
capitalism
it is.
works.
Yeah.
Makes you so-
it keeps you distracted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, bread and circuses and
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just exhausted to do anything else except go home and sleep.
Yeah.
Go back to work the next day.
So that's
Could be by design.
yeah.
In fact, that's what. Who was it? The economist, the early economist, 1800s, 18th century. The invisible hand of the market. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I
Is it-
can't.
Yeah, I had it. I just lost it. But anyway, that's what he talked about as well.
Let's ask Mother Google.
Be careful how you ask it. You might get kicked off.
I know who I do know who you mean.
I know.
Um,
We've all heard the name. It's exactly what he warned against. What do you call the vile maxim of the masters of mankind? Everything for ourselves and none for anyone else. Chomsky. Near and dear to my heart.
The invisible hand.
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
Friedman, was it?
Milton?
Yeah. Was it?
This guy?
Yeah, the one we're trying to think of?
No. He was a 20th
Milton
century.
Friedman was a Republican.
But he believed in UBI, didn't he?
Sorta.
Or was it a minimum? It was something like that. That was UBI. I thought he did.
What do you
Could be
guys
wrong.
think
Was
about- what do you
it
think about
Adam
that?
Smith?
I think it's a good idea.
Adam Smith?
Adam Smith, yeah.
Yeah.
You think UBI is a good idea?
I do.
I mean,
Especially with automation taking over what?
We're going to have to do it.
It's just a matter of time.
It's just, there's no choice in that because
there's not gonna
truck
be-
drivers will be out of business.
That's going to be the biggest one, I
Yeah,
think.
that's the first one that we're going to see is the truck drivers.
No doubt.
The next is taxi drivers. Uber is going to take over. It'll be all self-driving cars.
We have AIs writing operas, symphonies.
Yeah.
Nobody can tell the difference. Like, who do you think wrote this? Was it Mozart? No, it's an AI program I wrote. Like,
Yeah.
oh, God. So even creativity.
So this is going to happen, and the next is going to be at an upper level, higher level, which will be doctors, lawyers,
Yeah.
data analysis.
Of course, that's the best thing.
So
Yeah.
when all those jobs at a lower level is not going to be like plumbers and electrician and bricklayers because you cannot really design a robot that can run wires through the wall.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But it'll be a while,
Yeah.
and you're going to need a lot of people to control those robots. So
So there'll still be jobs there, right?
it'd be jobs. It'd be 10 robots, and one guy will be controlling all of them.
Yeah. You don't even probably need even one guy.
Yeah.
An automated system can do it itself, but
Yeah, it
either
could
way.
be that, but they would need fixing just like our tools needs fixing.
Yeah, it's like car manufacturers use robots, and
Yeah.
you have like 100 robots that manufacture the car, and maybe one guy monitors, make sure everything's okay.
Yeah. So when they have a glitch, they come back and fix it. But yeah, I mean, the AI is going to disrupt a lot of things. So the government has to do UBI, and we did a good experiment just right now with our third stimulus.
Yeah. Did you get your stimulus check yet?
No, I don't know why. I don't.
Seriously?
Yeah, I don't think I got the last one either.
What?
Yeah.
You're owed money, Michael. You're owed money. We'll talk about that later. We'll go to the IRS.gov website and find out what's going on here.
Right on. Sounds good.
They may be listening to our podcast. That's why they didn't send you one.
Yeah. He's a libertarian.
Say you as a threat, yeah. So yeah.
So you don't agree with it? You don't agree with UBI?
Well, now in the scenario you just described, I can't disagree with. I guess people are going to have some. I mean, if there's no jobs, I mean, what are we going to do? You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
It's just there's that whole what was that whole mouse experiment, the mice colony? You guys familiar with that?
what about it?
Where they put all the mice in this enclosure.
Yeah.
And I mean they're kind of filmed. I mean they're in there pretty tight.
Sure.
Know? And so they saw after a while because the mice get plenty of food and water, so they don't have to do anything for that. But you still have like some mice that kind of like post up by the food bin and kind of bully the other mice to get the food just because.
Like you don't need to do that.
And so
There's
like
enough.
there's like the wimpy, non-aggressive mice that just kind of just like they'll go eat once a day and then just avoid it. You know what I mean? But they'll have to go to the same area to go eat, so they have that social interaction. But then what they found after a while was you have what they call the call them like the pretty mice or the beautiful mice, whatever they call them. And it's because all they do is they just groom themselves all day long, just make themselves pretty, and that's all they care about. And then, but like society breaks down for them when they don't have to go get their food and water. And I mean, you really should look into it. I don't remember what it's called.
No, it sounds interesting.
It really is,
Yeah.
dude. And it was like kept in reps for a long time because of not the nature of it, but because of the results of it. It showed that, well, this is what's going to happen with people as well. And I think they tried the same thing with like monkeys. And I don't even know the where and the when on this one, but I guess they had like monkeys that they put into like a 6-story apartment building or something, and they taught them how to use money. And so they were all getting like UBI, but pretty much.
Okay.
And same thing with the mice. There's kind of like the monkeys would like, there was like the bullies that would just be like the hustlers of the building. And then, but like after like 3 months or something, the female monkeys started like pimping themselves out to get money.
Some things never change. Huh? No matter the circumstance.
It's universal everywhere.
It's universal. Yeah. So yeah, your point is taken. I think they're running some experiments now in Europe and Stockton. Is that right?
Yeah.
California.
Yeah.
And we'll see the results of those, but time will tell.
Okay. So I don't know if I want to go there yet, but
Go ahead.
so besides the fact that if that world comes to fruition, right, there's some people that would get their UBI and that's all they would do. They would just go back to watching The Price is Right or whatever. And then some people would probably say, well, now that I'm getting the UBI, now I can follow my dreams and go be a photographer or go paint or whatever it is, fix cars or something. But I guess there's some more aspects that would just be it, like society wouldn't like you see these Hollywood kids that they inherit a bunch of money from their parents and they don't appreciate anything. Justin Bieber crashes his car because what's $1 million or whatever.
That's right. Now the UBI doesn't cover everything, right? So we're talking about like what, $1,000 a month or $2,000.
Well, yeah. I mean that's the proposal that what's his name?
Andrew Yang.
Andrew Yang.
Yeah.
He put out was $1,200, I think.
I think so.
Remember
I
that.
think $1,200 a month. I mean, it'll be a number somewhere. We don't know because what the future costs are going to be. Because if you have robots and everything, I mean, productivity level will just go through the roof because they will be producing so much stuff.
What? No breaks?
Yeah,
Restroom breaks? Or
or
lunch breaks?
nothing. So the cost is going to come down. So the stuff is going to be very cheap. It'll be so much of it. So much of it will be It's not going to cost as much. But you're still going to need, place to live, things like that, to buy food and all that. So,
but where does
we don't know.
Where does the government get the money to hand out?
The same place it always has.
I mean, it'll be coming from the companies that are going to be selling stuff. You have to.
That was the idea, right?
Yeah.
Like tax Amazon and
Yeah. I mean,
Google
tax Amazon, Google, places like that.
Google doesn't sell a product though.
doesn't matter. They make a lot of profit.
Right.
So,
I mean, they do make a product. It's called a search engine.
yeah, there you go.
Um,
We all use it.
Well,
Yeah.
they sell like airtime, I guess, for their advertising, right?
Yeah. So the doctor's visit is going to be between $2 to $3. I mean, right now the way medicine works is you get sick, and then you go to the doctor, and he tells you, okay, this is what's wrong with you. In the future, you may have a chip implanted in you or some sort of something.
Elon Musk, what is it?
Wait,
I mean,
AJ, I think you just, sorry to interrupt you, but I think you just described how medicine used to be. You get sick and go to the doctor. Now it's like we wear a mask all the time
Nobody gets
because
sick.
we're all sick. And then when somebody sneezes, we all freak out. And then,
COVID.
that's what it is right now. But in the future, it's going to be, you'll get up just like you check your phone. I mean, you'll be wearing a device or something that would tells you every day what's going on. Is your blood pressure rising, or your blood sugar is rising?
What's your HDL?
Yeah, I mean, all those things will be monitored all day long. So, I mean, heart disease doesn't start on the day you get a stroke. It probably started 5-10 years from.
sure.
So if you know your symptoms at that time, okay, your arteries are getting, clogged. So you would change your diet. You would change all those things, your lifestyle. You can change all those things.
If you choose to.
Yeah, if you choose to. But,
For the libertarians.
yeah. So, I mean, that's what I mean by, medicine is going to be different, and it'll be cheaper because people are not going to get sick. I mean, if they want to live longer or healthier,
Most people do.
yeah. And
And I guess there won't be really a waiting room because the robots aren't going to have, they won't get tired and they'll just know exactly what to do for a surgery or whatever.